Hi, Alessandra. How are you?
Hi, Catherine. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for joining me this morning on my relatively new podcast. I was really excited when you said yes. I've known you for quite a
Likewise.
long time. Oh, thank you. I've known you virtually for a long time, but we've only met a couple of times in person. I was lucky enough to come to the Women in Travel conference earlier this year. But for those who don't know you as well as me, just tell us what you do and what Women in Travel is.
Sure. So I'm Alessandra Alonso. I'm the founder and MD of Women in Travel CIC. We are a leading UK-based social enterprise. Our social impact mission, it's all about fostering inclusion
Mm,
and diversity in industry. Particularly, we work on gender diversity. And we educate, train, and network with industry so that the industry can foster a more inclusive and successful future for itself. We reinvest any profit that we make from working with industry into programs that are aimed at connecting underserved and diverse female talent to opportunities in the sector, be it employment or enterprising through our tour guiding academy. So as you can understand, we are really focused on making the difference to women and individuals, non-binary individuals who are sort of at the moment invisible or perhaps not don't feel included or represented in industry.
yeah, and it would be nice to think that need was reducing, but I don't think that's necessarily the case, is it? I expect you're busier than
No,
ever, are you?
no. So you see, it's not as much about, it's not so much anymore about supporting women who are already in industry. We do that. And,
Mm,
there are areas and there are geographies where that's still very much sort of embryonic. And therefore, we
mm,
absolutely advocate for more women in leadership role and in senior roles. But we do feel also very strongly that there is a whole sort of group and a
sure.
whole pool of talent that doesn't know about the opportunity that exists in industry and doesn't know about what the industry can offer to them and vice versa,
Sure.
what they can offer. So it's also important that we match these people. But if the industry doesn't value diversity and doesn't
Mm,
understand why and how diversity, equity, inclusion, also in its intersectional sort of, I guess, in its intersectional form, add value,
mhm.
then they are less likely to engage with this pool of talent.
It's interesting because it's very much a two-way street, isn't it? Encouraging organizations to be more open-minded about the way they hire and recruit and supporting
And
individuals
develop
who
and
who
train.
might.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly. And then on the individual side, giving them access and knowledge about the type of opportunities
yeah,
that exist that they might not be
absolutely.
aware they can access.
And in that sense, we feel very strongly we are also doing a good service to industry because we advocate for industry.
Mm,
So, when we ask our women and our diverse talent and candidates, what do you think? What are the jobs that will be available? Most women would say, well, most individual would say, I'll be waitressing at tables or making beds, and very few of them think about opportunities beyond, but there are so many opportunities.
mm,
And often our candidates, although they come with plenty challenges and so sometimes harrowing background and stories, but they can also be very qualified, but they don't
mm.
think marketing travel. They don't think law travel. So, we also give them
Yeah.
the opportunity to think about, hey, you can do your professional qualification, you can actually work and sort of do what you're passionate about in the context of travel and tourism. And the travel and tourism needs you because we know their skills are hard to come by.
Yeah, yeah. And you must have seen some real changes in where those needs are over the years. When did Women in Travel start?
So we are 7 years old, but I have
Yeah,
been working with women and for women for the best part of 25 years now.
yeah.
So I started in industry. Well, I started in policy and consulting with
Hmm.
industry in the late 1990s. And I then I was at the World Travel and Tourism Council and then a sort of KPMG. And then from there, I sort of started to look around me and, noticing that I was always the only woman in the room. So, in the early noughties, it was all about who is in the room and where are the women who are
Mm,
still 50, 60% of the workforce, but are nowhere to be seen in the corridors of power.
mm,
And then increasingly it's about, okay, if there is now more awareness about the importance of developing female talent, um, what we want to go down and think about is the pipeline and how we open up the pipeline to
mm.
include not just white Western women, but everyone,
Yeah,
and all the various intersections of race, sexuality, color, abilities, and all of that.
sure.
And that's why we work a lot with refugees, with domestic abuse survivors, sexually trafficked
Yeah.
survivors, women who've been long-term unemployed, perhaps have suffered from some mental challenges, and
Mm,
particularly, in the aftermath of the pandemic. And these women are available, are keen,
yeah.
want to progress with their life, and often are qualified, but they don't have the network, they don't have the access, they don't have sort of the confidence to go and
Yeah.
knock at the industry doors. And that's what we try and facilitate and support and elevate their voices in so doing.
And you're such an incredible champion for people who are underrepresented, which means you're here, there, and everywhere all of the time,
Yeah,
speaking, networking, bringing people
yeah.
together, supporting. If you think about the one thing that would make your life just that little bit easier with all of these things these plates you're spinning, what would it be?
People who don't ask you to do work for free.
Yes.
That is a
And
very important thing because people think that they just because you are because you have social mission, you don't need to earn.
yes,
And
yes, that's so
or
true.
because they keep on asking us to do free things, and that is so wrong. Is wrong,
Mm,
is demeaning, is like, no, please pay the amount that that
yeah.
our expertise, our knowledge, our 30 years of work, we've done so much thought leading work in this arena. And, none of the people who ask us to do work for free would do it for free themselves or anyone else.
No, exactly. And it's an interesting challenge, isn't it? And I think you're right. Half of it is because of the social enterprise model, and half of it is because when you are someone who is so good at connecting people, is well known and regarded in the industry, people see that as a free resource, don't they? They see that as, oh, well, Alessandra knows everybody. She will be able to
Yeah,
just do this for us, or just, and
yeah,
people don't, I don't think, see the amount of work and time and expertise that goes into that. And b, you kind of, you're almost a victim of your own success, aren't you, because
yeah,
you have created such a powerful community, wealth of knowledge. People feel that they could just dip in and out of that
yeah,
at no
yeah.
cost. That's a
Mhm.
really good answer. I wasn't expecting that, but I think it opens up a really important conversation for not just for social enterprises, but for owner founder businesses and advice based businesses in
Yeah,
general. I think that will really strike a chord with a lot
yeah,
of people. And obviously, a lot of what you do, excitement and attention is generated through events and networking. Outside of the events that you run, have you been to in 2024 that you've thought was brilliantly put together, run, great speakers, that kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, I was a skift in New York for the first
Yeah.
time last week, and that was really exciting for me. It's a very different event, but they ran for the first time this women luncheon, and the women
Okay.
I spoke, and the opportunity, to continue to do that exists. And I think when an organization like Skift begins to understand and value sort of the need to include broader perspective in on its platform,
Mhm.
then you think, okay, maybe my job is beginning to be recognized and valued.
Yeah.
Not obviously, it's not just me, but what I'm saying is that, in 20 plus years of doing this, this is the time it has taken to get here. So
Yeah.
we're clearly a little bit ahead of our time, but at the same time, we are grateful to the big giant in industry like
Yeah.
Skip, who are beginning to think these things matter, and we need to begin to talk
Sure.
about it.
And obviously, Skift is a global event, but do you see nuances between the way the US and the UK address some of the challenges that you're trying to shine a
Yeah.
light on?
I think it's about where we are in different stages, and they do not just US, they do other countries as well.
Mm.
And we've just announced that we are running an IWTF Gulf in Dubai in November.
Yeah.
And I think it's about recognizing that the conversation matter, that the challenges exist everywhere, and that you need to raise the debate and to be humble about it and to hear
Mm.
from the people who are based there, because there are lots of biases and there are a lot of misconception. And, I am, for example, very curious and very interesting to take our event to Dubai, because I want to see
Yeah.
their perspective, and I don't for a moment claim to understand it or know it fully. And so, it will be interesting to see how, changes is happening in the area. But the thing is that for women worldwide, the issue are pretty much similar at different
Okay.
level of
Mm.
escalation.
And I can imagine that you have so many different projects and objectives on the go at any one time. Is there something that's been stuck on your to-do list for a long time that it's just not been the right time, or you've not managed to find the right people to bring together or resource? Tell me
Yeah,
about something that you really want to get stuck into.
writing a book.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Okay.
So
Tell me more.
there were two things. One was a TED Talk, which I'm finally doing on the 19th of October.
Yeah.
And the second one is writing a book around women, mentoring, travel, tourism. And it's kind of, I can see the index of the book, but
Yeah.
I can't find the time to write it. So that is something that I'm hoping I will be able to do in 25.
Oh, I would love to talk to you more about that because I've started writing a book and I've got as far as setting aside 2 mornings a week to write, which is the first big hurdle, isn't it? It's setting aside time in your busy schedule
Yeah,
that is purely dedicated to that. So we must have a coffee and talk more about books
yeah,
and writing. I'd love to do that. That's
absolutely. I
really
mean,
exciting.
I've contributed a chapter to a book that is being published, I think, any moment now from Oxford Brookes, University
Oh
Press,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's one chapter, but there are a few others that I need to write. So that's the
yeah.
chapter for them. But that also would be something that I would look into for this book. But I just want to give more tools to
Mm,
women to contribute to industry and to society and take their righteous place, where they belong in terms of decision making. And
yeah,
in this industry, they are often the host, but they don't necessarily
yeah.
have the decision making power.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I shall look forward to reading the chapter in the existing book and talking to you more about your own book. So, if you had an extra day in the week, I imagine you would dedicate some of that to writing. But
I
what
write
else
the
would you
book.
do
Yeah.
if you had an eighth day? What would you do with it?
Well, the book would be probably it, definitely. And I think I would also take more time for reflection and looking
Okay,
forward.
yeah,
Sometimes you can feel that you are a little bit firefighting, and
sure.
so I think that extra time would be luxuriously spent thinking.
Yeah, oh, it's such a luxury and it's a real skill to acquire, isn't it? Being able to stop and switch off technology and maybe have a pen and paper handy, but just to
Yeah,
reflect and think. I know I really struggle with that, but I always feel the huge
yeah,
benefit from it when I do make the time.
yeah.
Um, and on that note around kind of reflection and I guess mental health in a way, what's your morning routine look like? How do you set yourself up for a productive day?
It's a good question. I'm not sure I'm the best. I am very, any good Italian, can't function without a good coffee.
Yeah,
So that would be the first thing. I still do partly school runs. I have one teenager who still needs some support because of the sheer amount of sports stuff and.
sure.
And
Yeah.
so morning are quite hectic, still
Yeah.
becoming less so compared to a few
Yeah.
years ago. I think that if I have it my way, I'm lucky to live opposite a park in North
Mm,
London. And if I can walk out of the house and it's a very small park, but it's a very beautiful park. And so if I can sort of walk around
yeah.
do 3 rounds of the parking or some spend half an hour walking in nature in this park,
Yeah.
that sets me really well for the day. I feel
That's interesting.
re-energized and really sort of rejuvenated.
Yeah. There's something to be said for just fresh air and daylight, isn't there? Just being
And
outside
nature,
at the
green
start of
and
the
nature.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, it's pouring down with rain here and the skies are grey, but you're making me want to go out and stretch my legs at lunchtime and just get a bit of
yeah,
fresh air before I carry on with
yeah.
my day. Um, where else are we likely to see you in person? I can't believe it's September already for a
World
start. So
Travel
we
Market.
you'll definitely be at World Travel Market in
Yes, and we
November.
are running a session on the Tuesday as well. So as part of
Brilliant.
the DEI day.
That's great. And people, I
We are
assume, will be
going
able
to
to
be
find.
doing, sorry, we're going to be doing a session on allyship, is the final
Yeah,
session of the day, and it will be followed by networking. So we encourage
brilliant.
anyone who might be listening to join us.
That's a great
You are
opportunity to
registered,
find out more.
yeah. And if you're registered for World Travel Market, obviously it's free to
Yeah.
attend.
Yeah, and they're so good. I feel like in the last couple of years post COVID, World Travel Market have really upped their game with their seminars and workshops and
Yeah,
networking, haven't
yeah,
they? Oh, we should look forward to that. I shall make sure I'm there on the Tuesday
yeah,
then.
definitely, definitely.
And what else have you got on this week? We're bright and early on a Monday morning. Have you got a busy week
Oh,
ahead?
loads. I have, I'm doing a lot of work on the IWTTF Gulf because
Yeah,
obviously it's coming up in November. We've
yeah.
just finished our employability program with 12 women, Elevator,
Okay.
and we are now following up. Some of them have interviews as a result of the program. They are looking at perhaps going back into education. So we are
Yeah.
following up and making sure that everyone is where it needs to be and have the best chance to gain access to employment or
Mhm.
enterprising. And we've also just finished a program with USAID in Bosnia around tour guiding. And so we
Oh,
are now
fab.
looking at feedback and evaluation.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I felt like I knew quite a lot about what Women in Travel does, but I really didn't. So it's been great to hear so much more. And I think for anyone who isn't familiar with what you do, then this is such a brilliant introduction. Aside from WTM, if people do want to kind of get involved or be supportive
Now
or
we have
help
loads
with
of events
projects,
online. Sorry, I'm
yeah,
cutting you off.
it's okay.
We have lots of events online. I think
Yeah,
there is a really interesting event now with Hafsa Gaher on halal tourism and
yeah,
women sort of in halal and how to get involved, and maximize opportunities from halal tourism. And then, of course, we are still working on, so we have this allyship program where sort of male senior allies, leaders are matched with
mm,
women. I definitely encourage your audience to look into it on our
mm,
website. You can be a mentee or you can be an ally mentor. And, it is hugely beneficial. Many
mm,
people tell us how much they gain. And we also talk about it, as I said, a world travel market. So that is another way to get involved. But, go to the website and look at events, look at allyship, and look at sort of the online lunch and learn style webinar and start from
yeah.
there.
Amazing. And I'm sure lots of people will do that and can also connect with you on LinkedIn as well and keep in touch.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Alessandra, it's been just so good to catch up with you this morning.
Thank
I've
you.
really
Thank you,
enjoyed
Kathy.
talking to you, and I can't wait to share this with everyone in the travel and tourism space and beyond that as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.